Book of Job. If you found your way there to Job 29, I want to let you know that appearances can be deceiving. Appearances can be deceiving. Some of you know this story. I think I've told it here once or twice. But back in the days, many, many years ago, when I was looking to become a music, make my life in music and be not really a rock star, because I sang kind of country, folk, rock, the thing, that Eagles kind of thing. That's my generation. And I was down in Tennessee, and I wasn't good enough to get to Nashville, so I was over in Knoxville, and trying to get to Nashville, and I was playing in a club, and you go in there at night, and it was, the name of this club was Yosemite Sam's. And go in there, and it was when I was, it was interesting. I had just become a Christian. I lived a life that was far from being Christian for 22 years, and then the Lord got hold of me, and immediately afterward, this incredible musical opportunity opened up with a guy I'd played with years before down in Knoxville. And I think it was interesting, the timing of it. And I went down there, and I'm playing in this club, and I learned a lot of stuff. I learned, for one thing, that when you're playing clubs, nobody really cares what you sound like, especially not the management. What they care about is how much alcohol is consumed while you're playing. And if more alcohol is consumed while you're playing than when you're not playing, then you're good. And they'll bring you back. I mean, literally, you talk to anybody in either the management or the musicality side, there are very few clubs that are out there to just, show good music. This was all eye-opening to me as I started to see this, because my heart and my life had been changed through Jesus Christ. But there was something else that I saw, and that was the first time I went into Yosemite Sam's. It was at night, and hey, this is a pretty nice club, pretty cool. It's got good lights and everything else. I went in, and then while we were working there at night playing, I also got a job from the manager of the place to go in and paint the bathroom stalls. And so I went in during the day when the real lights were on. And I looked at the place and I went, this is a dive. I can't believe what this looks like. You see, at night with all the lights off and just the neon lights on, full of people, having a good time, gosh, it looked pretty cool. But then when you saw it for real, it looked like an entirely different place. The fruit in the Garden of Eden, it looked good. As a matter of fact, Genesis 3:6 says this: "So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she gave it to her husband, and he also ate." The appearance was, gosh, this looks good. This ought to be good. But God had given other direction and had said what would happen should they eat of that fruit, didn't he? There was more to the story than just the way it looked. Proverbs 18:17 says this: "The first one to plead his cause seems right." Isn't that true? The first one to plead his cause seems right, until his neighbor comes and examines him. The modern version of this might say there are two sides to every story. The first one who comes and tells you, well, this is what somebody's done. When I go through counseling, especially if there are more than one person involved, a couple or something, and the first one comes and says, this is what's going on, and they did this, and she said that, and he said that, and blah, 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 blah. To be really careful and recognize the fact that, okay, now let's hear the other side of the story, because there are always two sides to every story. Well, that's a little bit like what the book of Job has been for us. You see, looking only at external circumstances can lead us to the wrong conclusions. It led Eve to the wrong conclusion about the fruit. She'd been told what would happen, but she looked at it and said, yeah, but the circumstances, gosh, it looks really good. In Job, as we've learned so far, in heaven, as the angels are coming before God, Satan comes among them, And Job and Satan have this conversation where God is bragging on Job. God is bragging on Job to Satan. Hey, have you seen my servant Job? Man, there's nobody like him. Yeah, right. You've built a hedge around him. You bless him like crazy. Take away his stuff and see what happens. He'll curse you to his face. God gave Satan permission to do that to Job. And yet Job did not curse God, did not blaspheme. And so the same thing happens again sometime later. And God says to Satan, you see my servant Job? There's nobody like him, even though I have allowed you to take away everything he had. Job says, yeah, skin for skin. People will do anything. They'll give up anything for their life and their health. God says, okay. You can have that area of his life too, but you cannot kill him. So Job gets this horrible disease. Some believe that it might have been elephantitis. If you've ever seen pictures of people with elephantitis where their limbs just swell up and are so sore, and it's a horrible disease. Whatever it is, as you read the description of it in the book, it's pretty bad. It's real bad. Real bad. And so Job is suffering. He's lost everything. He's lost his family. He's lost all his possessions. And now his three friends come, and his three friends come to comfort him, and they don't even recognize him when they first see him. And when they come, they sit for 7 days saying nothing. And then finally Job speaks, and he starts calling out about his suffering, and then his three buddies start to try and correct him. And for both of them, both for Job and for his three friends, the problem is they've been looking at the external circumstances and being led to the wrong conclusion. You see, Job's friends said, well, let's see, things are bad for you, Job. Things are really bad. You must have done something really bad to deserve all this bad stuff happening to you. They looked at the circumstance, tried to come to some conclusion. Job did the same thing. Now you see, Job did not sin. He did not blaspheme God during this time. But we will find out today and next week when we complete the book that Job, the dross of Job's life, boiled up to the top as God applied the heat to Job. And Job started looking at circumstances, and he said this. He said, things are so bad, God must have unfairly abandoned me. That's what he starts saying. Because he's judging from the external circumstances. I'm calling out, nothing good is happening. God's not helping. Things are really bad. God unfairly has abandoned me. He's abandoned me, and unfairly because I'm a good guy. I do good things. Both are wrong. Both are trusting in their wisdom and knowledge to fully assess the situation. And that's a danger. And you say, so what, Pastor? And I say, because you do the same thing. And so do I. We are tempted to that all of the time. To look at the external circumstances and go, oh my gosh, God's forgotten me. God's not real. God doesn't really love me. I'm not really a Christian. God hasn't really done this. God hasn't led me to this because it's difficult. You see, the problem is neither one starts in the right place and lays the right foundation, which is the nature of God. You see, that's something that is unchanging. Our circumstances will change. Your mood will change. Your health will change. Your wealth will change. Your age will change. All those things will change. And if you are building your confidence and your comfort and your assurance and your way of being comfortable and confident in this life on those things, your health, your wealth, anything else, if that's what you are depending upon, you will be disappointed. You will be disappointed because things change. Things change.